Welcome back to BS Reviews. We are turning in our homework today. So the last couple of weeks, he has given me some movies I haven't been super excited to watch, and last week was no exception. I had The Revenant, which I know Leo won his first Academy Award for it, and it's supposed to be highly recommended. But in the trailer, I see I have to watch him watch his son get killed in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't super excited about it, but I watched it,
Yeah.
and it was good. But there were it was so violent.
Yeah, it was
I
very violent.
the
Yes.
very the beginning opens with the Indians attacking them, and like just blood everywhere, super violent and gory, like
Mm-hmm.
close up shots of arrows going through eyes and all
Yeah.
of this. Like it was wow. I also will say Tom Hardy, that was
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
actor. He was really difficult to understand. I guess he tried to change his voice for the character, which makes sense for the time frame it was in and where they're at and stuff. But I was like having to turn it up. I was like, what did he just say? Maybe I should watch this with subtitles, because half the time it's
I'm Batman.
and I'm like, I don't know what he said. So that was kind of hard to watch. Now, you had warned me about the bear scene, and oh my god,
Yeah.
it was intense.
Yeah.
Like, you think it's gonna end, and then it keeps going, and then you think it's gonna end, and it keeps going. Like, Mama Bear was in protective state,
Yeah.
and as soon as you see those little bears, you're like, oh no, Mama Bear's here. And he turns around, and the bear attacks him. It's rough and violent, and you're like, oh my god, that's bad. And then the bear walks off, and then you're like, okay, he's not too bad. He's really effed up, but you're like, okay. And then the bear starts coming back, and he shoots him to try to kill the bear, and the bear does not die and just attacks him some more. And then he stops, and the bear like circles, and it comes back around. He gets his knife out and starts stabbing the bear while he's on top of him. And then they roll down a hill, and the bear gets on top of him, and I'm just like, oh my god. I knew it was gonna be,
Yeah.
yes, but geez, I was not expecting it. Like,
There's no like one-on-one isolated fight to the death fight scene like that
oh my god,
in any
no,
movie. So it was great.
that was intense.
Mm-hmm.
And so, well, they're trying to carry him back to their compound or whatever, and the captain was like, okay, let's, like, who can stay behind and carry him while the rest of us go or whatever. Or, I'm sorry, the captain is very stupid for leaving the one guy Tom Hardy's character, who's already made it very clear that Leo's character should die, and that he doesn't like his half-breed son, and all of this. And he leaves him to take care of Leo with like a kid, and I'm just like, that was a really stupid decision. Like, I don't see why the captain made that decision. Like, there's not a logical reason to do that. I mean, I know he had promised him money on the other hand, but no, that was stupid. I am curious, the visions that kept popping up throughout the whole movie, like, was that because he was on the verge of like dying and not dying, and he was seeing his son and his wife? And I was very confused, because some of them were flashbacks, but then some of them looked like he was like trying, like he was going to pass over and like die and be at peace or whatever, but then he got pulled back because he wanted to get revenge. That's what I got from it. I have no idea if that's what it was meant
I would
to
assume
be.
that sounds pretty accurate, to be honest. It's been a hot minute since I've seen it, so I don't think I can give you a good guide on that, but that seems to be spot on with what that was going on. Yeah.
Well, the part where he, like, some Indians catch up to him, and he's like racing through on the horse and then just falls off a cliff. I was like, oh, I didn't see that coming. He's just racing, and then all of a sudden him and the horse go down. And then he cuts open the horse and gets inside of it, and I was like, Star Wars!
I was hoping you would get the Tauntaun reference.
Of course I would get that. I sat there and I was taking my notes, and I was like, oh, Star Wars. Like, as soon as I saw it, and as soon as I saw him cut it open, and I was like, no. Like, he hadn't even taken the first piece of the horse out. Like, as soon as I saw him cut open the horse, I was like, he's going to do it.
Yeah.
It was so gross. But I love the Star Wars point there. So anyways, he makes it back to the place after rescuing this one Indian woman who was captured by the French people, I think. Anyways, he helps her get away, and then he gets back to, but he drops like his water canteen or whatever, and one of those people gets back to the camp before him, and the guy that Tom Hardy's character sees the canteen, and he knows that I think I might have even skipped the part where like he watches his son get killed in front of him. Like it was so traumatic to watch. Like
I don't hate you. I actually skipped a moment in the movie you gave me as well. But go ahead.
Yeah, I was just at a loss because it was so traumatic to watch. Like I'm sitting there and I'm like having to look away, and then I look away to my monitor for my child sleeping right here, and then I start crying. I'm like, jeez. But anyways, like when they left, because the kid that was with Tom Hardy was like, you know, where's Huck or whatever his name was, and Tom Hardy's like, oh, I don't know where he went, and then they leave Leo's character there to die because Tom Hardy's character had said like Indians are coming, and the kid was just like, okay, we gotta go, and he felt really guilty, but he left his canteen, and so when that other guy shows up at the camp and has the canteen, the kid is like, oh my god, it's Huck, he's alive, let's go find him, but the other guy, Tom Hardy's character, knows that he's not because he had stabbed him to death.
Yep.
So he like leaves the town while everyone goes out to find Leo's character, and they find him, get him back to camp, and they see that the other character had left, and so Leo and the captain go out to find him, and the captain ends up getting killed, and I really like the trick that Leo played. Yeah. So he's not going to leave the captain's body out. So he originally puts the captain's body over the horse, and he's riding on the other horse, but he knows this other Tom Hardy's character's out there and is like going to try to kill him because it's either, one of them's going to die.
Right.
So he somehow sticks a tree limb up the captain's back and has the captain sit up, and he plays dead on the back. And so it was very, very clever.
Right.
Very clever.
Something unique that another movie hasn't done. Yeah.
Yes, I really liked that. It was very smart. But I was really sad. Like after the whole fight goes down. Side note: he leaves the captain's body out there. Like he never goes back. And this is like supposed to be his friend. Like he just leaves the captain's body out there. But I'll circle back to that. But he finally they get to fight to the death, and he kind of sees this group of Indians come up, and after he's like pretty much killed Tom Hardy, like he's like, it's not up to me, it's God's decision. He puts him in the water, and the Indians grab him like kill. like I was like, yeah, you left it up to God technically. And when the Indians walk by, they let him live because I don't know if they realized like that the woman that he had set free from that other camp was with them. Right. They were searching for her for the whole movie. So I was like, that circled back around, and I was like, okay. I was very confused on the ending. Like it just ended with him seeing his like dead wife in front of him. So I don't know if he was just out in the wilderness and ended up like after he got his revenge, his son is dead, and so he just kind of drifts off.
It's kind of like a gladiator thing where he dies at the end because he's already accomplished the goal that he needed to.
But you don't see him die. You just see him hallucinate his wife, and I guess it's supposed to be a symbol of him. Like, okay, he's let go now.
Right.
It was a good movie. Like I said, it was hard to watch at some points, and I understand why he won the Oscar for this. He did. He was phenomenal, and he didn't even have that many lines because the bear had like ripped out his throat, so like he didn't talk that much. But no, it was really good. I appreciate the good movie. It's not one I'm gonna ever watch again because it's just very traumatic.
That was a request from Pops, so I'm glad you actually enjoyed it on there. And it's a solid movie. I wouldn't have given you a 2016 Ghostbusters movie or anything like that. You're welcome.
Gotta give those to you every once in a while. I think you've gotten me back though for giving
for
you
what?
that.
What did I give you that I got you back for a the 2016 Girls Ghostbusters.
You gave me Alien Covenant, and then you give me this one that's hard to watch. It's a good movie, but it's hard to watch, and it's very, very emotional.
Neither one of those were bad movies, like from the core of bad.
Covenant was really bad. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways,
watch Ghostbusters. Watch Ghostbusters and tell me which one's worse.
I would give this movie because I would give it a 7.5.
Oh wow!
Because it was a good movie. It just isn't like I like dramas, but this is very, very emotionally draining. So 7.5. But it's a good movie.
And for mine, I had What Happened to Monday, I believe. It's a Netflix movie. Thank you for giving me one I didn't have to fucking buy. I appreciate it.
So, I found mine on YouTube TV. I was like, yes.
So I had What Happened to Monday, and the basic premises is the world has become overpopulated, and to be able to kind of tone that down, we're going to take a note out of the Chinese book and only allow everybody to have one child. And we're going to enforce this one-child situation by having checkpoints and raiding people's homes, but it's going to be better for all of mankind. And now what we're doing is if you have multiple kids, we're gonna take those extra kids and we're going to put them in a little bit of a cryosleep. We're going to put them in a cryosleep, kind of like Futurama, just to make sure that when we get our shit together and everything's good, we're going to be able to kind of wake them up and they'll be there won't know anybody because it could be thousands of years in the future.
Yep.
And the movie starts off with a guy having 7 kids at once. All 7. First off, how does that make you feel, Mrs. having one?
I mean, the idea
he's alone, too. There's no mom. The mom died in labor.
Yep.
So he's alone. And do you think Russell could handle 3?
Oh, no.
Not necessarily 7?
No, but I mean, in that type of world, you got to do what you got to do. And his, I mean, that dad was very much, kind of prepared. Like he was
more well off than others. Yeah. And the Green Goblin did really good at raising the 7 kids. Yeah. Anyway, since there's 7 kids and they're only basically allowed 1, he wanted to keep it under wraps. So they gave
they're identical.
Yeah, they gave birth in a kind of a knockoff hospital because they wouldn't be reported. Anyways, he was like, "So what are you gonna name them?" And he's like, And this is a guy thing right here: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah. Names them straight up the days of the week. Ends up having to raise them in the household by himself and teaching them about being on top of understanding what each one of them do through and through. So they have bracelets that are their identification keys, and he kind of mods multiple bracelets to have the one identification.
Yep. And
he tells them you could go out on the day of the week that is dedicated to your name. So Monday goes out on Monday, Tuesday on Tuesday.
I'll stop you there for a second. Did you get a sense of their personalities matched with their names?
Yes, very much so.
I really like the way they did
Monday was all business, you know. But the first day they were going to go to school, so it was like a Thursday, and Thursday gets to go, and she's all scared. It's their first time out, and he walks her to school and everything, and she ends up going into class. But then in the evening, she has to broadcast what happened through from her watch to the rest of the rest of her family, so they can be on the same page and be able to identify, people, friends, references, places, etc. So I thought that was really good. And the first thing I did, I leaned back and I was like, I bet Saturday and Sunday are the fucking dumb ones.
Yeah, probably.
And Saturday ended up being a blonde hair, poppy, bubbly kind of girl, and Sunday ended up being flat out hippie. So I called it across the board on those. Monday was
what day of the week would you want?
Well, let me continue with the review here, because I really like the one that I like the nerd a little bit, because the nerd was on Friday. And she was the one that everyone was like, they're trying to get a promotion. They're in their 30s. Their father had passed away. They're still going the one day a week out. So it's 30 years later. And the first thing I noticed was they're still running that cryo sleep commercial, the same one from 30 years ago. They're running the exact same commercial about they'll be ready when the world's ready.
Yeah.
And, give them a shot and put them to sleep. And there's a big promotion coming out. Friday, everyone's giving credit to her because of her tech savviness and her knowledge and her computer usage, etc. But Monday's going in for the interview itself, and Monday is all business and future and planning and all this kind of jazz. So Monday goes in, and Monday doesn't come back, and everyone's freaking the fuck out. The tracker's gone, etc. And that's hence the reason What Happened to Monday, the name of the actual movie.
Clever.
So come to find out, she vanishes. Tuesday goes out acting like nothing's going wrong, and she gets picked up by we'll call it the Bureau, but it's like the CACD or something like that for like Child Advancement Development. Oh, I don't know what the fuck it's called. Anyways, so they pick her up and they take her into like a lockdown facility, and they say, 7 of you for 30 years, that will ruin my career. And it's like one lady that runs this whole shenanigans situation. She's like, that would fucking ruin me, so we're gonna correct that. So they pit her up against the wall and walk up to her with a knife, and she's like, I'll do anything, I can get you money. She's like, it's funny, that's what the last one said. And you're like, oh shit, killing the kids one at a time. So then once that happens and Tuesday doesn't come home, Wednesday, you realize that they're being picked off. So what ends up developing through the whole course of the movie is they find out that somebody sold them out. Somebody ratted them. And there's multiple, chase scenes where I think it's Wednesday that goes out, and she's being chased through corridors and alleyways, being shot at and everything. The Tech Friday is on, and it's all being played. All the characters are being played by an individual actress, which I thought was fucking great. You can see it sometimes, but the personalities and the hairstyles and the makeup and the attitudes, she does very well with their diversity. It's almost like a advertisement for marketing her for other movies. She's like, I can play that. That was Tuesday. I can play that. That was Friday. I mean, I can play all of these. You know who that is, though, by the way, right? That was Shaw from Prometheus.
Oh, it was. Okay. Yeah. I will say that type of actress, if you've ever seen Orphan Black, she does the same thing in that show, which is, she's phenomenal, different actress. She's phenomenal in it, where she plays multiple clones of herself. Any actress that can sit there, because you have to have something that kind of like gets you in the mood for that character, like hair color, clothes, whatever it may be, to like get you in the mindset to play 7 different characters on screen. And then you have to take into account like your body double who is in those scenes with you. You have to make sure that you're watching them too. Like you're acting opposite yourself, though. It's like, it's so challenging, but it was such, like, the way they put it together, I'm always fascinated with that because it was very impressive. But go ahead.
So as this is all going about, you end up finding out that Monday had fallen in love on her one day that she goes out, and because she fell in love, she wanted her own life. She didn't want to be tied to anybody. She didn't like having one day with or like a fake name. She wanted her own world. So she's the one that actually sold out her sisters, and she ended up making a deal with the head bitch about, hey, you can take them out, I'm going to donate a lot of money to you, we're going to try to get you a position in politics. And when you find out Monday had sold out her basically family on there, you're like, well, that's kind of fucked up. But this is where I found I love twists. I love twists in movies. I love them when you don't see them coming. Just because a movie has 13 fucking twists, it does not make it a good movie. This movie, at the last half hour, every 5 minutes would have a twist, would have a twist. And I saw it coming, and I saw it coming, and I saw it coming, and I called it from the beginning, and I knew it from the beginning. And it was just constant back and forth. I was making jokes by the end. I was like, the guy who actually Monday fell in love with. Yeah. It was Sunday or Saturday. Also ended up sleeping with that guy, pretending to be Monday to be able to find out info from him. So in the end, Monday and Saturday both die, and I laughed to myself like, ha. everyone he actually fucks dies.
Well, more than just those two die,
I know,
right?
I know. I called it from the beginning. I said more than likely we're gonna have at least 2, possibly 1 that'll actually survive. 2 do survive, and there's a twist where obviously she's fighting herself in a bathroom where they're wearing roughly the same dress, and a gun goes off and you don't know which one died. You know, the classic cliche movie thing, and she comes out in a completely different dress. You're like, which one is it? Is it the Bad Monday that sold her family out or not? So you end up finding out the cryosleep, they just incinerate children, incinerate people. They got video of it. They broadcasted it at the girls' like her going and announcing into politics.
Oh yeah.
You find that one out first off because she was about to go into politics, not just with that being her stance, but the stance of, hey, in the future, we might be able to find out that if things are going so well, we're going to allow people to have even siblings in their household. But you have to be financially stable and be able to take care of it. Basically saying, we're going to pick who gets to have kids and who can't. We're going to basically nullify everybody else that doesn't deserve children. So you can tell where this shit is going. It starts with one thing and then continuously kind of builds upon that. But in the beginning, Monday threw up in the trash can because she was nervous about, or in the toilet because she was nervous about her interview. It wasn't. I was like, she's pregnant, and she was pregnant with twins. When she ends up dying in the end, because she gets shot just straight up in that conference room where everything's going to hell with all the twists happening at once. They save her babies and everything, and everybody, the father figure standing there looking at the 2 babies in like a tubes, and then the 2 sisters that survived on both sides, they end up getting their own names and saying, this is what my name is, this is what mine is, and you can see
you got to think also with Monday, it's not just betraying her family because not just betraying her family because
she shows love and dick over family.
No. I took it, and I watched it a while ago, but I took it as she was pregnant with twins, meaning that she was doing it to protect her children, her unborn children. She had to make a deal so that both of her kids would live.
Oh, so
that's what I got from it.
So you're saying she could protect her 2 kids if she wasn't able to make a deal, sell out her family, and kill everybody she grew up with, then she wouldn't be able to protect the 2 children she has, unlike her father, who is able to protect 7?
Yeah.
Are you saying she's a bad mother right off the bat? Is that what you're saying? God. Because the dad could do it with 7. Can she not do it too? Oh, that's what you got from it. Okay.
She probably didn't want the life that she lived. She didn't want that for her kids. She didn't want her kids to pretend to be one person, not have their own identity. Like you said, she wanted her own identity. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Calm the fuck down.
There was the cryosleep thing. I called it at the beginning. How many sisters would be alive at the end? I called it from the beginning. I was surprised at how bloody and gory it was. There was a lot more violence in it than I thought there would be, because none of these 7 women have training. Of course, one of them, her shtick is that she works out all the time, and she's always training on her punching bag and such. But there was a lot of violence. I skipped through a part of the scene. It was where one of the girls snuck out of the house when she was like a kid, skateboarding, cut off the tip of her finger while skateboarding. So the dad had to cut off every fucking kid's tip of their finger, and I skipped that scene.
He was like, yeah, this is what happens. What happens to one of you happens to all
What
of
is
you.
it with the problem? There was 3 scenes where somebody lost a finger in this movie in detail. There were 3 scenes. The little girl, when she lost it, when she took off the Band-Aid and showed her, it was dangling off. And then number 2, they cut to this one twice where they cut off the tip of the finger. And then number 3 gets trapped in a bathroom. She cuts off the guard's finger to be able to tape it to her finger in the spot where she would have one to be able to use his gun because of the biometric scanner on it. There was so much finger cutting in this fucking movie. But yeah, all the twists and everything like that. I enjoyed the movie for what it was. It was unique because I hadn't seen anything like that, even though there is stuff out there like it. But it tried to put too much in the crock pot at the end. And I wasn't very, very happy with that.
All right, so the movie What Happened to Monday on Netflix, what would you rate it?
I would give it, I'm going to give it a class grade. I'm going to give it a C-. It's enjoyable to be able to put on, especially being free if you have Netflix already. But I wouldn't recommend it to people openly. I would say you need to watch this movie because you see everything coming. But it was a decent watch to sit down with.
Some people might not see everything coming. We watch a lot of movies.
Yeah, I was watching, what is it, Moana? What's that Pixar movie with the chicken and the rock?
Yeah.
I called that shit, and I was in the other room. I was like, I bet a dead parent shows up at this point, or maybe a grandparent. And then I hear from the other room, it's her grandma, and I'm like, oh, yeah. So I mean, I was calling it. So yeah, it's a very predictable movie. But if you'd like something kind of unique and a little futuristic on there, I did like the scanners. I liked the way the police force was set up with checkpoints to be able to make sure of it.
Yep.
I liked how the government had built around this. I think they could have done a little bit more with that, but yeah. Okay.
All right, so you had What Happened to Monday on Netflix with a C-, and I had The Revenant, which I gave it a 7.5. So I think they're very, like, The Revenant was not going to be something I would be like, yeah, I want to watch this. And I don't think that, if, like, when you see that trailer, is What Happened to Monday something you'd be like, yeah, let's watch it, and then just kind of disappointed in it, or were you not interested from the beginning?
I would just forget about it.
All right.
If somebody was like, "Hey, have you seen what happened to Monday?" I'd be like, "Isn't that the one with the 7 girls and the kids get caught on fire?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, yeah." And the finger cutting, they'll be like, "Yeah, that's it." I'll be like, "Okay, yeah, no, I've seen that."
Okay. All right. Well, so you wouldn't recommend it. I would only recommend The Revenant if you're looking for something very, very serious and emotional draining.
Yeah, yours is an Academy Award, you know. So.
Yeah.